we have you on talking about school choice so much. This Supreme Court case that just came down regarding, which really opts into a sort of educational choice element regarding LGBT studies. Tell us, how big of a victory is this?
Well, the Mahmoud case, the one that you're referring to, now allows parents to opt their children out of objectionable content in the schools. It's shocking that it even had to go to the Supreme Court, but they made the right decision in allowing these parents, for religious purposes, to opt their children out of what was LGBTQ content in reading lessons. It wasn't a separate health lesson, but it was infusing this ideology throughout the core curriculum. Parents wanted to opt out. The school district said too many parents are opting out and it's disrupting the school day. This is what they said.
I didn't realize that was their argument.
And that is why they stopped them from opting out, and parents sued. And these weren't, MAGA parents. These were Muslim parents and Protestant parents. They were religious parents from that community in Maryland. Were saying that they wanted their children to be able to opt out from those lessons. I say this is actually a bigger issue, and it does give rise to what I think will ultimately be a Supreme Court case. If a parent can opt out of individual lessons because it doesn't align with their ideology or their religious beliefs or their values at home, why can't they opt out of the entire system, which we know is completely infused with left-wing ideology and anti-religious bias?
So is there any language in this ruling and in this opinion that would lend itself towards that? This is now precedent.
It is precedent, and the Supreme Court was very careful to be narrow in its ruling.
As they are.
However, it does make sense, and I think we can very easily demonstrate that teachers, when they are off script or through, if you look at what the teachers union does in their trainings, it is absolutely infused with political and left-wing ideology. And I know there are a lot of parents that are concerned that it's not just in the curriculum, but it's actually normalized in public schools, this left-wing bias, the LGBTQ, the gender ideology, and so many parents now are demanding the ability to opt out, but not just to opt out, but be able to take those funds with them and choose the education that they believe is fit for their child.
It goes all the way back down to the teacher schools, because I always tell people, you're worried about the school, the schools, but it comes down to, all right, think about it. When you were in college, who were the people that you knew that were going to teaching school? Like, it was always the leftists. It was always like the far lefties that you knew, the lefties of lefties. Those are the ones that were going up to be teachers. This is an issue, by the way, that I think at some point we're going to have to address on the right, because we need some kind of response to that.
Well, and that's why in the schools that I have started, several classical schools here in Florida and states around the country, we do not hire graduates from teacher colleges. For the most part, we hire math majors, science majors, history majors, English majors, and then we put them through a training program that helps them to teach in a classroom. But I would much rather, even as a parent, have someone who is seeped in content expertise and then teach them how to teach that passion of theirs, if they're passionate about history, rather than someone who's been indoctrinated through a teacher college and really doesn't even know mathematics themselves to teach my children. It hasn't worked in the public schools, obviously. Only a third of our children in America are reading and doing mathematics proficiently.
That's so sad.
So we need to do something different. We can start there, like you said, with where we're sourcing our teachers. But next up, and thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill, we're taking a huge step on being able to enact school choice across the country